And welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. Monday, May 26th, 2025. It's Memorial Day, and I want to remember all those who have served. I thank you for your service. God bless you. Today's video, though, kind of dampens the spirit. Now, you know, I've talked about this big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump put into Congress. It's horrible. It's catastrophic. I think it's demonic myself. Now, this big, beautiful bill barely passed the House, and it's now headed towards the Senate, I'm not sure what they're going to do, but hidden in the bill is some very dystopic wording, some very dystopic language. We're going to talk about that today because I've come on this station and openly confronted people who support Donald Trump. I've openly confronted those who support his Republican co-conspirators who are eroding our freedoms as fast as they can. Of course, they're going to do this before the 2026 midterms, where they might be decimated in many states. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping so, and I'm fighting for that. But this big, beautiful bill has some very, very, what I believe, anti-American language in it. So I have an article here from the Daily Beast, written by Sarah Ewald Weiss. This was on May 23rd. Hidden threat to democracy slipped into Trump's big, beautiful bill. And I'm going to read some excerpts from this. When President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill passed through the House this week, Republican lawmakers slipped in a provision to limit the power of the courts. The move was revealed as Trump's administration has clashed repeatedly with the legal system since the president took office on January 20th. Trump and his top officials have attacked court rulings and those who issue them as activist judges. Buried deep in the text of this more than 1,000-page bill is a measure that would restrict the federal court's authority to hold government officials in contempt if they violate court orders. Now, this is a very, very big deal, my friends, a very big deal. Now, listen to this, and I quote, "No court of the United States may use appropriated funds to enforce a contempt citation for failure to comply with an injunction or temporary restraining order if no security was given when the injunction or order was issued," reads Section 70302 of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This is part of the continuing effort to neuter the courts, said Cornell professor Jose Margailis. It is a move to consolidate monarchical power so that there is no longer any effective restraint posed by the judiciary. When someone violates a court order, the judge who issued the order has the ability to hold them in contempt and issue fines or even jail time as punishment. The provision deep in the massive domestic agenda bill would require anyone suing the federal government to pay a bond before the court could use its contempt power to enforce an order. This would severely restrict federal courts' authority to hold officials in contempt if they violate judicial orders, according to the Campaign Legal Center. This is a huge congressional overreach in the judicial branch, spurred on by the executive branch pushing Congress to do this, said its senior legal counsel, Eric Koshman. Since January, Trump has taken sweeping actions to remake the federal government and carry out his agenda in the U.S. and abroad, including firing federal employees and top officials, freezing funds, and announcing controversial policy changes. But the president's efforts have been halted and reversed on numerous occasions by the courts. They have ruled more than 170 times against the Trump administration, finding in many cases the administration's actions were unconstitutional, according to tracking by the New York Times. In response, the president, vice president, and other senior Trump administration officials and close MAGA allies have attacked judges online, including by name, and sought to undermine the judiciary system as a co-equal branch of government. Now, I wanted to read that all because that is some serious stuff right there. Now, you might say, David, that's not going to affect anybody. Well, of course it is. It's going to affect everyone because Donald Trump wants to be king. And I've said this over and over again on this channel, that he will find a way to bypass the Congress and the judiciary. You know I have a problem saying judiciary, right? I don't know why. But Trump is going to find a way around them. He's going to do every illegal act he can to get what he wants. And, of course, to get what his right-wing followers want. The abolishment of immigrants, of LGBTQ plus people, of brown people and gray people and yellow people, to make America white again. And you really can't do this under the current rule of law because the courts will rule against you every single time. That's their job. Now, according to the right-wing radicals, they are overstepping. Donald Trump should be allowed to do anything he wants. He was crowned king by them, right? But no, he wasn't. We did fight in 1776 to overthrow the king in our country. And we did successfully. And we're going to have to do it again. This, I believe, is a line drawn. This now is a battle line. And I've talked about civil war many times in my videos, and others have in theirs. This could trigger a civil war in our country. Now, I'm going to read a statement from Robert Reich, American professor, author, lawyer, and political commentator. Now, he's worked under mostly Democratic administrations, so obviously no one's going to want to listen to him that's on the right wing of the Republican Party, the fascist groups. But he has said this, and I believe this, and this is a great quote. And he writes, "With this single provision, Trump will have crowned himself king. No Congress and no court could stop him. Even if future Congresses were to try to stop him, it could not do so without the power of the courts to enforce their hearings, investigation, subpoenas, and laws." So really, this bill will handcuff both Congress and the courts and leave your president, in this case Donald Trump, as sole ruler of the country. So we know he wants to be the sole ruler of the world as well. That's not working out so well for him. But he's got a captive audience here, and he's got Republicans, the fascists that voted for this bill, backing him. And, of course, his fascist MAGA supporters are all in. Now, you got to take a step back. How would a person who's a fascist take control of a country? So we do have history that we can look at in basically Italy, fascist Italy under Mussolini, and, of course, in fascist Germany under Adolf Hitler. How would you do it? Well, you take control of every facet of the country. You disarm those that would stand against you. In this case, in our country, the other two branches of government, the congressional branch and the judiciary branch, you would handcuff them, take the money away, take their power away to do anything, so they can actually speak, but have no authority to come against you. So then you can do what you want. So if you're a brown person in this country, you're now fair game. If you're an immigrant and a brown person, you're now fair game. If you're a legal immigrant and a brown person, guess what? You're fair game. If you're from any other country that's brown or gray or yellow or something in between, you're fair game. And if you're white and you stand against him, guess what? You're fair game as well. Because there's only one group that has a say in this country, and that's the white MAGA people that support Donald Trump. In their belief that this is God's will to basically take over America by force. By force. And the people took it by force. None of this is scriptural, by the way. None of it. Zero. Zilch. Nada. If you think God wanted to take over America, he would have done it years ago. He never intended to do that, nor did he instruct his people to do that. This is something that they came up with all by themselves with the help of probably somebody on the darker side, because this divides America. See, Jesus wanted to love everyone, and people disagree, but he did. That's what he did. So what we've done here, at least the right-wing people have done, is they rewrite Scripture, and they yank things out of those Scriptures to build a case for themselves. These people are heathens, and they're no good, and they're all criminals and illegal, and we don't like them, and they're brown, and we don't want to sit next to them on a bus, and we don't want them to move in next to us, that's for sure, right? So they find a leader, or a leader finds them. See, this worked both ways. See, they were looking for that leader, and someone like Trump was looking for an army. He built an army, and now he's got enough of them, and he's got enough of people in the Republican Party that will do whatever he wants. Put this fascist language in this big, beautiful bill, which already destroyed poor people. We're just going to take advantage of poor people. We're going to give rich people tax cuts on the backs of the poor and the working poor. That's what we want to do here, right? That's God's will. That's what we do because they're not like us. We work hard and we're special. We're really white and we believe in God, and they don't believe like us. Because you see, if you don't believe like them, you're not going to heaven. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Believe me, I've seen this firsthand. They're special. They're set apart. The Bible says so. We're a set apart people. No, it said that you should love your neighbor as yourself. Serve those who need help. Reach out to the immigrant, to the foreigner. Not jail them or send them off to prison camps, but that's okay. And see, this bill will give him more and more authority, if passed. Will give him more and more authority to do whatever he wants. You won't recognize this country. If he decides to not have elections, stop elections in 2028, guess what? Who's going to stop him? If this bill passes, there's no authority for anybody to stop him because there's no funding. He's cutting it all off. He's going to stop anybody that wants to stop him. Is that what you want in this country, people? Is that what? No, I get a lot of comments, and most of these people can't put two and two together. They can't. And they would rather see people jailed and thrown out and have no benefits and die of diseases that can be cured, but we're not going to pay for it because we don't care because you're less than human, right? And that's kind of, now you may not think that. Maybe you're a supporter of Donald Trump's and you're saying, I don't think that. But once again, when you support somebody that supports that, you're complicit. Look up that word. Now, a lot of people didn't go to school, and when they did go to school, they didn't learn any of that stuff. You know, a lot of people just wanted to learn how to make money because you see, money is the cure to it all for them, right? We're going to make money. It's about money. The budget's a deficit. We got to get rid of it because we're going to be hurt by it. Well, you haven't been so far. You really haven't. Most people still live the way they live, even though the budget deficit is large, and it's going to get larger under Donald Trump. It's going to get larger and larger. He doesn't care. There's no fix to this without destroying everything. You see, that's the problem. It's a Jenga game. You know the Jenga game? You pull the wrong log out from the base and it collapses. Well, you just can't pull everything apart because your society will collapse. People who need help will not have help. They will have issues. You end up, if you let it go on too long, you end up with another revolution. You see, because eventually people will fight against tyranny. They will fight for their rights. In this country, we have rights. Illegal immigrants have just as many rights in the Constitution when it comes to, if you get arrested, you have your day in court. That's what our founding fathers wanted. But here, you're not going to have anything. And he wants to eliminate anybody from having a day in court. We can't do that. There'd be so many cases. Well, guess what? Whether that's true or not, you follow the Constitution because that is what our founding fathers wanted us to do. Everybody's equal under the law. But that's not true with Donald Trump or his supporters. Oh, what's equal is for them to get what they want and everybody else to be punished for it. Punished. Some nice people, they don't really want to see people punished, but again, you're complicit in it if you support a guy who's supporting these draconian methods of, say, getting rid of immigrants, taking a 2-year-old cancer patient, a young person, a baby, really, and tossing them out of the country, getting rid of parents who have children here, separating families, which he complained about that everybody else was doing. No, that was always Donald Trump. In his first term, he did that. This is what you back. You should be ashamed. You should be embarrassed. And you should get on your hands and knees and ask for forgiveness because what you're doing is going to find a nice warm place in some pit for you when it's all said and done. Because those aren't the words of Jesus. Those are the words of people who are selfish and greedy and have turned their back on the truth. It's all the time I have today. God bless you. Happy Memorial Day to all the veterans. Thank you for your service. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our video, and hit the bell icon. That'll let you know when we've released a new video. Again, we have another video out and a third one coming on Nights Around the Fire, our sister channel. If you like legends, mysteries, and myths, please go to the channel. I'll put a link in the description box. My two research assistants, Ashley and Sue, have done a great job coming up with content. Ashley has a new video with me out. It'll be out probably tomorrow. Look for that. Like, subscribe, and share to that video channel. I appreciate it. God bless you. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow right here on your favorite place for news, information, analysis, and don't forget commentary right here on The David Tomsic Show.